How y'all doing? And when you're, well, just say continue recording without audio. It's gonna have audio. It always says that. It's probably a driver problem, but it's now on your hero. Butterfly Spirit 314 to the left of me. Actually, hopefully when it's recording, you see it this way. Otherwise, it'll be to the right of me. So, we're going to talk about two types of demons. You got the demons over there that you can't see, and you got the demons that are the problems, that how they manifest or manipulate your reality, that make it so that you can see them. Okay, so two types of demons. The first type of demons I ever saw were they manifested in my face, okay, in my actual reality. But I don't think that it was as 3D as I thought it was, because I could see them. So one of my abusers started reading the Bible, and it, just like in a Ouija board, a demon came out of the Bible, and it came out of this Bible that said Holy Bible, and it was a blue, and it had a white dove on it, and it was paperback. That Bible has been used against me a lot of times. Stuff's always came out. But anyway, he read from it. Paranormal activity started happening, lights started flickering on and off, and this happened when I was 7 and 8, right? I think I was 7 though. So what happened is that this thing that looked like the gremlin, like from the Gremlins, when you pour water on them, they turn into that nasty brownish, purplish type of creature. Well, this was a tall one, and it looked to be about as big as I am now, but I was smaller then, so it would look to be as big as I'd say a grown-up. And its knuckles was all big, like its knuckles was thick, like all its joints was like thick and bigger. It had like these ears. It looked like the fucking thing from the Gremlins, that when you pour water on them, they go crazy and they look like that. It looked a lot like that. So it's crazy. Maybe somebody saw a real one too, or maybe that was a thought form. I mean, I didn't know back then, so I just thought, hey, it looked like something scary. Anything that looks scary is a demon. Okay, so there's that. Another time, one manifest from the Bible was when this is back when I was about 11. Different house, same Bible. The one with the blue dove, the one with the blue Bible, paperback with a white dove on it. He licked it with his tongue, and then he told me to swear a lie, or he told me to swear on it, or whatever, a lie about me, telling him about him abusing me when I went down to the summer to visit my dad. Because of the first time I did that, I was like 6 or 5, and my dad knocked his teeth out, so I guess it was something that he always worried about. Whenever I visit my dad, I would say the same thing. He was worried about my dad coming to, hit him with the butt of a gun or something like that. Anyway, he sent me to the room. It was nighttime. My mom was always at work during these times. She always is. Did he have a job? No. He spent all his time raping my sister, beat me, beat my sister, stuff like that. Anyways, he sent me to the room. He takes his Bible, looks at it again, takes my shirt off, tells me to get on the top bunk, and he smacks it on my stomach. Okay, turns the lights off, leaves, and my sister's not there. My sister, she's in the front room, and he was in the front room. I'll tell you how I knew that in a minute. So, next thing I know, the Bible starts burning. It's like sizzling on my stomach. Like it's a burning sensation, like it's on fire on my stomach. Okay. So then I heard these 3 big booms. Boom, boom, boom. It sounded like somebody is like trying to kick in the door with like, it's like, or they trying to ram like,
yeah,
boom, like that. Or no, it's just like if you took your fist and you, boom, boom, like that. It was really, it's like a battering ram or something. But
yeah,
then,
it's like if you have the police trying to
yeah. It was
basically take the thing and try to get into your door.
Yeah, that's
boom,
what,
boom, boom, like that. Yeah, it's like that.
That's what was going on, and it would have got in there until I yelled for my grandma. She's been dead, but when I yell for her, stuff happens. When I yell for Jesus, nothing happens. When I yell for God, nothing happens. When I yell for my grandma, something happens. I was like, the hell is that? As soon as I asked what the hell is that, like my brain went and I saw it, and it looked like one of those tourists from World of Warcraft that's on the Horde side. But you know, in the actual game, they don't seem that bad. But I mean, I wasn't playing World of Warcraft during this time. I didn't have any video games to play.
Okay, yeah.
I had nothing. I was just getting beat all the time. So, like when I say all the time, I mean every day without fail. Even when you try to sleep without fail. So that's another manifest. Okay, where it manifested, and it was behind the door. So I yelled for my grandma. Things quiet down, but I was like, you know, I yelled for my abuser. I was like, where are you at? And I was like, sis, where are you at? And my sister said, we're in the front room. So I was all freaking out, like, okay, so my mom ain't here, and if both of them is in the front room, what the hell is that?
Okay.
You know? So, like I said, there's the actual manifestation of them doing that. And then you got the demons that work around other people, and this is when you say you gotta fight your inner demons. You gotta fight your own demons. This is where this comes from. Where you got all these obstacles in your way. You're trying to do something. You're trying to get somewhere. But you're never getting rid of the stuff that's the obstacles that's always in your way. You gotta actually omit that crap till it never happens again. Those are the other demons. But then you can't, you know, you can only do so much because they will manipulate people. Like people who were heavily matrix, they're easy to manipulate. If they're not even aware even a little bit, not even the least bit of psychic. You're Christian, heavily in the matrix, heavily into the news, believe everything they're told, you know what I'm saying, religious stuff like that, you know, believe the news, everything, and that's, when I say believe that stuff, I mean you believe it and then you keep it. Like no other information that can tell you any different, they will easily use you because, I mean, there you go. You think you're doing something. You know, you think that you can just go give all your sins off to God and all your guilt, and then they can just use you right again. You're in a place where they feed off of you. You're the biggest feast. Churches are the biggest feast. Anywhere where people, a bunch of people crying, and they're sobbing about their sorrows, they can't do anything right. Demons on that side, that's what they use to eat it up, and they use it to get energy. And now they got more power to fuck you up even more throughout the week. Because you're beating yourself up over nothing. You know, so then they'll use you to beat up somebody else because your emotions is fucked up and you're not feeling good, and when you're not in a good mood, you're not going to really treat other people in a good mood. You're not, you know, because your emotions, you can't check yourself. So now they can use you and your fucked up emotions because you're not in a good mood to go mess with somebody who is a higher vibration and try to bring them down. When I say high vibration, I mean they're happy. Emotion, vibration is emotions, okay? So they're happy, things are going right, you know, they figuring things out. You know, they just got a new girlfriend, or a new boyfriend, or a new job, or promotion, or some shit, something like that. Or they had a party, a birthday party, and somebody they've never seen in a long time showed up, you know. And so their vibration is really high. And nothing can fucking, they feel like, hey, nothing gonna ruin my day. And that's where the demon will come in and will do that. You know, you're trying to work on business, you know. But I'm gonna let her explain the real life stuff, other real life stuff that happened to us, and the way they manipulate other people that's heavily in the matrix that is not even the least bit open to understand that not everything is on the surface that you know.
Okay, so before I start though, I was gonna ask about your grandma for people to know like why you called on her in particular, so people understand why you called her in particular.
Oh,
you know.
Well, I called my grandma in particular because when I was little, I saw this. You know how they say, you know, the Grim Reaper or whatever. But what I saw was a black dude. It was a black dude in a black cloak, and he didn't have a scythe. It was more like a staff. This was back when she was having heart problems, issues, whatever, and she was like, because my grandma was like into voodoo or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, but there is she had a newspaper about something that happened with my mom. And my mom's, this guy that was messing with my mom. So this guy had, I guess, tried to hurt my mom, rape my mom or something. And my grandma said, okay, get me some of his hair, give me some of give me some of your hair, and save your period blood. And then she mixed it all together. Next thing you know, the dude's in the hospital, and a snake was in his intestines or something, and they had to pull a snake out of his intestines. I don't know. It's just weird shit. No, it's like, how the fuck that get there? I don't know. It's just weird shit. But that's the only story I ever heard of. But so since my grandma was spiritual, and I saw her after she had died, I would always tell my mom about it. Oh, grandma, she's still around, blah, blah, blah. And when I would have my headphones on, okay, I would used to listen to headphones.
When you listen to music
when I
or
listen
something?
to music, yeah, with MP3. Oh, but this was like after I got out of the manifestations. But I would hear her name, she'd call me. She'd be like, Anwan. And I'd be like, Grandma? And I had a dream. Reason why I did call my grandma, to answer the question of why did I call my grandmother, because I had a dream when I was little, and it was as simple as this dream when I was little after my grandmother died, and I was like, where'd she go, and I had a dream that a lightning bolt, that my grandma walked outside, it was nighttime, the moon was out, and the moon was yellow, and there was a lightning bolt that came from the moon, and it hit my grandmother, and my grandma turned into a black cat, and it's as instantly as that. No questions, no church, no nothing. Now, why did they tell me? And I was like, okay, so when I see a black cat, or I see a cat that's black in any type of way, I know that that's my grandmother around. So what happened is that I was told to take the trash out by my abuser, and the trash leaked outside. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get beat. He's going to tear my flesh off again with the board with the nails in it. And this cat showed up. It was black and white. Okay, I was like, oh. And it showed up out of nowhere. Okay, I didn't know. There was no off in the distance. It just kind of showed up. Did I see it like manifest in front of my eyes? No, I'm busy trying to fucking get the trash away, put it up, and tripping out about me getting in trouble, going to get beat because it leaked. This cat, instantaneously, the first thing this cat did was it licked up all the leakage from the trash can. I'm not shitting you. That's exactly what it did. And then I realized, oh, that's my grandma. So then, here we go, where I was asking my mom, like, Mom, this cat showed up, and it's hung around and hung around. I was like, let's keep it. So we kept the cat. It was in a house, not an apartment. House with a fucking pink roof. It's kind of weird. When the cat was there, I realized since my grandma was around, I could call on her, because I called on Jesus before during the time when my sister was getting raped, and I actually caught it happening, and her rape got worse and worse, and the sounds got even more weird.
Okay.
And the banging got more intense the more I prayed for this Jesus to help, and I prayed for God to help, and nothing happened.
Okay.
I didn't know to pray. That was before the cat showed up. Okay. After the cat showed up, I was eating dinner. This is another demon thing, more paranormal demon type shit. But it didn't manifest. It was like moving shit around. It was like working through my abuser. So he told me, I couldn't eat breakfast. I don't even eat blueberry waffles till this day because of this bullshit. So I was at the dinner table, and I was trying to eat these blueberry waffles, and my stomach was just so sick. I'm just so sick because my abuser's like right there. You know what I'm saying? And he's right in front of me. I'm like, he's going to hit me at any moment. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I got sick. He's like, I can't eat this dude right there. And so what happens is that he puts this heavy-ass box right behind him, and he locks the door, and he puts this heavy-ass box in the top of this pantry. Well, I feel like I got to go throw up. He says, you're only going to burp when you throw up. I'm like, no one does that. But instead of the church being right, and, the pastor being right, and Christians being right about stuff, yet again, my abuser was right. I went to go fucking throw up, and a burp came out instead. I only belched. So when I went to sit back down, he got up to hit me, and I said, Grandma, real quick, like that. And then the door unlocked itself, and the box flung open and hit his ass in the head.
Okay.
So there you go.
So basically, you called on your grandma because she was there to basically help you out.
Yeah.
In times where you needed somebody to help you.
Yeah. So I guess you would say that's a real manifestation of a spirit guide. one of your own relatives. There you go.
Okay. So I will go ahead and add to it. So basically, for people who are like watching this video and stuff, I was in a store, and no, I didn't see any like demons or anything in this occasion, but I was in a store. I've had like experiences with like cats or something like that, and how cats. A lot of people may not know that they're like have supernatural references to them or spiritual references to them, and I've always been real good with cats and cool with cats, and stuff growing up. So for me, I've been close to cats, but I'm close to dogs too. So like I think it was like last year I went to the store, and I was in the store and I was looking up. It was like this basically a spirituality store, new age store, and they had this book, and it was about like animal. It's like animal omens, and I flipped this part in this book, and it was talked about cats, and it spoke about this lady who was saying that basically she had an experience where I'm trying to remember because it's been a while since I read it. So there was this cat that showed up on her property and stuff. And she took the cat in, she didn't know where it came from. The cat just like happened at where she was. And so she starts taking care of this cat because, nobody came to claim it or anything. So she starts taking care of the cat. And the crazy thing is the lady started to notice that the cat started to do things that were like what her mother had did. Her mother had passed, but the cat started to do things like to sit in the same chair that her mother did, and to just to do these same things, in the same spots, the same chair, same whatever, and would seem to react to things when same way her mother would, look a certain way or something like that. And she had done some research on cats, only to find out that cats basically are half in, half out, meaning they're here and they're also in the spirit world. So it's not unusual to see cats around, supernatural activity of any kind. And actually, cats actually serve as vessels for spirits, like basically people who have died. Basically, the spirit of a person can go into a cat. And then, that so the person can walk around in the cat and to do things, and basically live as a cat. And so, to me, it's not unusual, with cats. Cats have been around for, hell, hundreds of thousands of years, and so it's not unusual. They've been around with the Egyptians and a lot of other civilizations. They've had supernatural references in a lot of civilizations. So it's not unusual for a cat to do something relating to it being supernatural. That's not unusual. Somebody spoke about, I think anyone watched something where somebody was talking about every time they would meditate, their cat sits in their lap or something like that, or whatever, when they're meditating or something like that. So there you go. That's a good example of, a cat being around during spiritual situations. Now, for Aaron, with the cat being around, that was, basically, to me, that was the cat being there to protect him, and yes, being his grandma, because her soul can be inside of the cat. That's very true. It can happen,
My abuser eventually figured out that it was the cat, and he beat it up really bad to the point where we had to let it go so that it wouldn't get harmed by him anymore. He poked its eyes out and saw all type of crazy shit. So I had to let it go. But I was still able to call my grandma. She was able to appear. But the cat could only hang around so long. Why didn't I protect it? You know what I'm saying? I can't. I was too small and too weak. I wasn't very strong. But go ahead.
I mean, with that, a a lot of, Anyone's experiences, like even for me, it's, I'm always learning something new about his experiences. And, it's to first hear something like that for me, it's kind of like, you know, wow in a way because you have to deal with that. A lot of anyone's experiences maybe similar to some of you guys' experiences out there. Some of you who are watching who may not voice your opinions or say anything about what you've gone through or anything. I think anyone kind of has gone through things more on an extreme scale, and stuff, and he doesn't want people to go through it and stuff. And it's just like, damn, you had to have like some type of experience like that. But even though it may be hard to hear, it's important to voice that because there are people who need to be warned about these types of experiences and to know this kind of stuff can in fact happen, and it's not something that is made up or something. This stuff really happens to people. People are really abused, and they're abused in many different ways. I mean, I can't begin to imagine what people go through. And, I think it's basically for anyone to be here and to be doing what he's doing and trying to help people. I think that's a really big thing. I would say it's that his experience is more of a miracle that he's here to help people, as opposed to what people would call a miracle as in, church and all that bullshit, because, he's actually turning things around to help folks and to do something, so I think, for anyone coming and speaking, and we do collabs a lot, but I think, in a sense, he's a leader and he's a hero about stuff, and it takes, sometimes you have to talk about the things people are uncomfortable with talking about, to give a voice to something that maybe people are too afraid to speak on and stuff like that, because to let people know what actually happens, especially when it comes to, kids and them being abused and stuff like that. That's important to talk about.
Now,
it is.
about demons getting actually into people.
I'm gonna talk about. Well, you can talk. Go ahead and talk about it.
Okay. So when I did tell my mother about we're getting all these scars on us because the boyfriend you got in the house right now, he's abusing us and he's hurting us and he's hitting us with this board with nails in it, and that's why I got these holes in my skin.
Mm-hmm.
He took my head and bashed it on the sink in the bathroom. That's why I got this gash. I don't got stitches. That's why I got this big bandage. That's why I passed out at school. That's blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So every time, this is the person I call him the demon man because it's like he's got demonic abilities, or he uses abilities in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom would say, okay, Elwan, and my sister, let's go.
So she'd attempt to leave.
Okay. She'd attempt to leave. So she tried
with
this
you guys
3 times, and twice in Independence and another time in Kansas City when I used to live there. He would go like this. He would step in front of her. She would make it to the door. I mean, she had everything. We would get our stuff packed. She'd have stuff on hangers, and we'd be about to leave. We would just leave with clothes and fuck everything else that's there. The most important thing you need is your kids and need to fucking clothe them. Grab a cup of food, get ready to go. So he'd get in front of the front door, okay, and she would be like, move, get out of the way, we're getting out of here. You're not a person to be hanging around with, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And he would just take his 2 hands and put it on her shoulders, and she would just like, I don't know, hypnotize up, or I call it zombifying up. For me as a kid, I've always called it that. That's what it looked like.
Just say hypnotize.
Like, it's like hypnotize or zombifying. It's like this. And he would have both hands on his, left shoulder, right shoulder. And then he would say, go put, tell your kids to put the stuff up and go in the room. And she lost all personality. Her walk was different. Her talk sounded like robotic. And she would just walk like, put your stuff up. We're staying. Then she'd lay in the bed like this. Straight. They ain't have my mom asleep. That happened 3 times. Twice in Independence and last time in Kansas City. Okay, they also called me the Demon Man because I had a lot of dreams that I have a video about how I made a future me or another me where I used the steam and the heat in the bathtub to
But
make
they can watch that though.
Yeah, you can watch that.
They can watch that later though.
So when I was getting these dreams of me seeing the future, this was when I saw the one where my dad was going to show up and my grandpa was going to show up in a van, a white van. I was laying down, and my future dream, I could tell which is which because I just could tell, and it crumpled like a piece of paper. Okay. And I woke up, and there was my abuser standing over me like this. And I was like, why'd you do that? You know, you got rid of my ability. Why'd you do that? You took my ability. You took my... You know, I was really upset, you know, because it's like a defense mechanism that I have to develop. But that's just another way of it manifesting in the person.
Okay. So what people would probably ask is, and I'm pretty sure that they're probably going to ask, why didn't you and your sister just leave or whatever?
We didn't have a place to go. Everybody else that we knew was 3 hours away or some hours away in a place called Sedalia. So nobody else was around us.
Did you call anybody in your family?
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys call anybody like when you're at school?
Yeah, we didn't have cell phones. No, we didn't know to do that. We were not trained in the what precautions to take or what to do in our situation.
Okay.
School did not tell us. There never has been a class from age, you know, when you first go to school in preschool, you know, all the way to where I was age 12 and she was age 10 during those times. This was before we got into a different type of abuse during my area when I was living with my dad.
Okay.
So there was never been a class. We knew about DARE.
Okay.
Don't smoke and drink and all that, but that's it.
Okay, so other people may ask the question of, what about, so they would probably ask us, and Christians might ask, well, why didn't you tell the church, or
I did.
Did you tell the church about what was going on and what did they do?
They told me to say to my abuser, in the name of Jesus Christ, I bind you. Now I said that, didn't work. I got punched. That day I got punched in the stomach. That really hurt. Another time they told me to say, in the name of Jesus Christ, I rebuke you. I said that. I got choked and slammed. I did that twice there and at another time. And both times it actually ended the exact same way.
Okay.
And they told me I just need to pray to Jesus. And I already told you guys about when I did that part. My sister getting ready to continue. So I'm stuck with that forever because I never went to do anything. I just sat there and prayed, believing that this dude was going to help because I'm not new to the paranormal stuff. So I was actually expecting him to manifest and do what he needed to do. But all the stuff they said, but nothing.
So did you guys like watch TV or anything?
Oh yeah.
So had you guys ever, as kids, like when you were living with him, had you guys ever saw anything that like of kids doing stuff like being in situations where they would call people, like they would, if they were in situations where they needed help? Did you guys ever see stuff like that?
No. When the beatings started, he turns the TV off. There's no TV, but he will turn the radio up really loud because neighbors were starting to notice. So he would turn the radio up loud to drown out our screams.
So what about the neighbors? Why didn't you guys go to the neighbors?
We did. Her name was Miss Thatcher, and that's how I found out about a church. And the church, her place had red carpet, and it was kind of weird because went to a church, and the church had red carpet. I said everything I needed to say, did everything they told me to do. Nothing happened.
Did you guys confide in any other neighbors?
No, they came over, asked what's happened. He cussed them. My abuser would cuss them out, and they would leave. I would try to bring friends over. My sister would try to bring friends over. They'd come over, and he would cause me and my sister to fight right in front of them, and they would be like, what's up with y'all? You know, I thought y'all was nice to each other, which we are, you know, but when the abuser's there, he causes you both, you know, their goal is to do what the church does.
So another thing is, why would you allow him to do that with your sister in front of other people?
I didn't. I grabbed the bat. You know, I would try hitting them.
When friends came over, like, how would he get you guys to argue?
He would say, go hit your brother. Go punch him in the face.
So
You
would
just
she
gotta do it.
just? So would she just do it, or
Yes, you just do it.
so she just do something, and she didn't question it, or she just did it out of fear of not getting hurt?
It's actually he used the Bible. He said, "Well, God says to do it because if you don't do it, you'll go to hell, and if you don't do it, if you don't do it because of me, then you'll get beat." So it's both ways. He was basically the same as God. The Bible was. He was the same, even though he was the same as Jesus. Follow him, do what he says, or get beat.
So at the time you were a Christian.
Except he wasn't murdering me. Except she wasn't murdering me. She was just, I guess you could say stoning me, but not to
but
death.
you were a Christian though at this time, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you believed in Christianity and stuff like that, which is why the Bible had hold.
Yeah.
Because of that. Okay,
Yes.
I'm just trying to clarify it for people so that they know, because I'm not asking him questions to like grill him in any way. It's just as to answer questions that I think people are asking questions I think people are gonna ask. So like they can get that information out.
I understand. I got no problem answering any questions.
And so the thing with the mom. So I have a big problem with the whole thing with sorry, my dress falling now. I have a big issue with the whole thing with your mom, because I'm a big believer that if you're somebody and you have kids, then you don't bring your kids around people who are going to cause any abuse or any harm to them. And I'm just really big on that. And to me, like, hearing you talk about the fact that that your mom would, she would want to go, but then he zombified her and stuff like that, or whatever.
Yeah, it's real
and
weird.
Stuff.
It's real weird.
And with that, I don't, you know what I'm saying? With that, like, that's on a whole nother scale. Like, and we ourselves don't know about that, but like, I would think like your mom would have had to have some kind of suspicion.
She did.
That something was going on, she could have did something. Like, I feel like
she did do something. But she brought her brother, which is my Uncle Joe. She brought him there. Okay. So what had happened is that because he's kind of, maybe drugs, maybe not, and we had gone to a store, whatever. This guy pointed at a cigarette case and he picked it up. They say, I know he's smoking something out of a metal pipe.
Okay.
And my abuser gave it to him. Okay. So what happens is that he starts to see my abuser hits my mom. That's when my Uncle Joe started, he was, he's like, what are you doing? Leave her alone. Just calm down. But it's weird because he is the supplier to my uncle's addiction. So he's not really gonna, protect his sister, which would be my mom.
Okay.
Or us, me, or his
okay.
So what happened is that I'm in the front room and I see him. I'm like, yeah, get him, Uncle, get him, get him, get him. I'm saying that. But he comes out in the front room and his face is all swollen or whatever. And then he just pushes my mom against the TV. My mom does this. She was more flexible back then and skinnier. She does this back bend all the way to the TV. And she was strong enough to back bend it back forward and throw the TV. I'm talking about the heavy one with the hump. I don't know how she did it, but she did it. And then she left because she had to go to work, since she went to work with some scars, whatever.
Okay. So the thing is that, and so was your uncle fighting him, or just so people understand?
I was very disappointed.
So why did your uncle's face? Why was it?
Because he got beat up.
Okay, so
and then I look at the abuser's face and he's not hurt. And I'm like, what the hell?
All right, so the thing is kind of going back to the thing with your mom, is that she would have, so she had suspicion, she got somebody there, but I think that, like, everybody has, like women particularly, you have a maternal instinct, and not to bring bad people around your kids, and so, for me, it's not enough that, that she just, that, you guys went through that and she have not, you know, took precautions ahead of time, you know, and there's not any fucking excuse to me for why she could get away with that, because to me, there's no way a mother can not check somebody out, you know, because to me, if you're a mom, then, and you have kids, then what's going on with you, like, if you're not still with the father of, you know, the person you had the kids with, then basically you should be spending time with raising your kids. Fuck somebody else. Like, you need to spend time on your kids, not bringing somebody else and, you know, around. That's not, you know, you're not having to be safe.
I never blamed her simply because of the fact of that she did try something and then she tried something else.
Okay.
And the whole zombification thing was just out of her hands. But the fact where, you know, and she tried to get him to get a job so that he can get away from us or whatever, but he never would do it. The only part where, I mean, she would talk about him, you know, that's why you got your teeth knocked out, things like that, when they would argue. But no. She really didn't do much else. She was always gone. That's just the problem. When she was there, things was okay. We was protected when she was there.
Okay.
But when she was not there, everything popped off.
What I want to say is, to me, it's not enough. And I don't really care. I feel like it's not fucking enough. You know, like, if your kids are having all this stuff happen to them, there's no excuse that you can give that's going to tell me that, oh, I tried this and that. No, she should have. To me, you know, when you're a mom and you have kids, your priority is your kids. Relationships go out the window. It's about your kids. And, you know what I'm saying, making sure your kids are okay. You know, it's not about, you know, basically like just having somebody around that you guys don't know, you know what I'm saying, and not checking somebody out. You know, it's not about that. Now, I know this may have been back in the day or whatever, but still, you know, to me, I feel like she should have just focused on raising you guys and not having a relationship and focusing on you guys, because then that never would have happened. You know what I'm saying? It never would have. So it wouldn't have been, you know, you guys' experience in life would have been different if she, you know, would have saw you guys as more important. Because my question would be like, did you guys, like, with your mom, like, did you guys, like, how did the situation come where you guys were with her and him? Did you guys just, like, happen to be, you know, come live with her and then, you know what I'm saying, and then he was there? Or,
yeah, that's okay.
Right. So see, that's the problem, though.
First she abandoned us at my aunt's because, you know, she couldn't afford an apartment and us too, so she needed our, you know, she was looking for a place that was going to fit, you know, and try to get money and try to save up for a place so it can fit me, my sister, my mom, and this guy. Okay. So she abandoned us first to do that. And then eventually she found a place.
Okay, so where'd she pick the guy up at? Like, it sounds like
I never knew.
It sounds like she just picked up some guy, and I'm not trying to be rude about it, but, you know, in a way, it kind of speaks to what you have women do these days. They just pick up some crumb from somewhere, and they're thinking about themselves. And, you know, my thing is, yeah, you can think about yourself when it's just you and you don't have kids. But, you know, and you're single. But when the second you have kids, it's about your kids, you know, and it's about their future and making sure they're okay, you know, and I feel strong with that, you know what I'm saying, because a parent has the right to protect their kids and make sure their kids are happy. And otherwise, if you can't do that, you should, you know what I'm saying, never have kids. You know, that's what I mean,
I'm never having kids.
You know, and yeah, we're not having, you know, kids partly because of his experience. And, you know, you guys can probably see, I don't agree with the stuff that happened with him and his sister when they were younger. I don't agree with that, because I think that, you know, when you become a mom, It's about your kids.
You know, my sister suffers from a lot of, you never protected me, but I couldn't.
But you're a
I
kid,
couldn't
so
do
you
anything
can't.
to. I couldn't. I mean, and I know what she's talking about.
But there's nothing you can. But
I know
there's
she's
nothing you
talking
can,
about that time I was praying to Jesus.
But there's
the whole
nothing.
time. I know it is.
I want to say this. You can't do anything. You're a kid. Okay. It's just plain end of story. You're a kid. You're not a parent.
But when my dad had custody of us, I did protect her. I protected her from several bullies. I did.
Well, honey, you don't have to have guilt over your sister. She's grown now. If she can't deal with that, that's on her. Okay? You're grown up, you know, you have to deal with, you know, and it sucks sometimes for a child. You got to deal with stuff. You got to go to counseling, but you got to do it.
I mean,
you can't blame nobody.
I mean, the thing is that, you know, I never knew that she was being raped from the age of 3 by the same guy.
But you can't.
To age 10.
But there's nothing you can.
I just found out at age 10 that was fucking happening.
But there's
when she was 10.
But there's not shit you can do about that. So you don't worry about that because you're not. The thing is, and he's trying to take responsibility because she's saying, well, you should have did this, you should have did that, and
it's not like she's not. It's not like that she's wrong. She's right.
No,
I just listened to the fucking church. And
she's wrong. She's absolutely fucking wrong.
I could have did something.
Okay, no. No, she's wrong because you're not her dad. Okay, you're not her mom. She's a child. You're a child. You're her brother. Yeah, you're trying, but you are not the parent. You know what I'm saying? You're not the parent. You know, the parents that brought her in this world. So she can't fucking blame you for some bullshit. And I want people to understand that.
Well, if I hadn't sat there and gone to church and did all the stuff they said, maybe I would.
It doesn't matter.
I wouldn't have believed that shit.
You're a kid. What the fuck are you gonna do as a kid? Are you the parent?
No, I'm an older brother.
Are you the parent?
Well, I mean, no.
Did you bring her in the world?
Ain't Jesus supposed to be a parent?
Okay, but no, Jesus is not the parent.
Ain't Jesus and God supposed to be the father? Ain't they
God is the God of the Bible is supposed to be the father. But the thing is that I'm saying is that
doesn't Jesus save? What about faith? I have faith,
but here's the thing: you are not the parent. You're not God, nor are you Jesus, and you're not your mom. You're not your dad. You have no responsibility over that.
Well, yeah, I know I'm not them too, but the church said to use them.
But listen to me. You are a child yourself. You went through stuff that bothered you, and you went through abuse yourself. I don't care if you're the oldest sibling or not, and I don't give a fuck if anybody watches the oldest sibling or not. Okay, if your parents come together to make kids, y'all are their responsibility. You know what I'm saying? And you were a child. And yeah, you might be doing your best to try to take care of the other kids or whatever in your family, but the parents come together to make you. If they didn't want to fucking make you, then, you know what I'm saying? You wouldn't have had this problem. If you weren't born, you wouldn't have had this issue, right?
Well, my mom didn't want to have a whole bunch of kids that my dad wanted to have. My dad wanted to have 10 kids, and he would poke holes in condoms, I guess, and would just make babies.
But the thing is But
with me, my mom never knew I was in her stomach because my birth is weird.
Okay,
But my sister, on the other hand, she showed and everything.
Okay, but the thing that I want to address is that you're not responsible for the stuff that happened to your sister. You may try to help as a kid, but you can't really do anything. It's the job of the parents. Think about it like if you're thinking about let's say we watch National Geographic, right? You have the, 2 tigers. You have the male and the female tiger. They come together to make, little baby tigers, right? Okay, so both of the tigers that are adults are doing what? They're protecting the kids. They're making sure the kids are okay, right? You see this in a lot of the animals across the animal kingdom. They all do this with their kids. They protect their kids, make sure no harm comes to them. Hell, even if some other kind of animal comes to them, they still beat the shit out of them. So the thing is
makes you wonder how a sentient being like a human, the most intelligent one that can build and civilize, can't even fucking do that for their own kids.
Well, see, but here's the thing, and it's pointing to what you said, is that you're not the parent. And because you're not the parent, you're not responsible for what happened. Your mother had a bearing. I mean, it basically falls on your mom and your dad. If you're with your mom primarily, like if you were with your mom, it's her responsibility. She's the reason that the shit happened. If she never had that person there and it was just her, you would have been fine. You know what I'm saying? But maybe this is because your mom was younger. Maybe it's because she didn't know. Nobody told her. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? And this is why I would say that people, look, don't have kids. If you are not responsible, don't have no damn kids. If you can't, even take time for your kids, don't have kids. I mean, there's fucked up people out there in the world, and for a child to have to take responsibility, their sibling blaming them over something that happened, seriously, you're not the parent. I think that your sister wants to, she wants somebody to blame about it, but she doesn't want to blame her mom, but really it falls heavily on your mom because your mom put you guys in the situation. If she had never had the guy in the situation and she wasn't just having him there, then it never would have happened. She didn't bring y'all in the situation, it wouldn't be the case.
We never would have got taken away from her either.
So the thing is, like with people, and I'm just saying this to be helpful, is that, with kids, don't have kids if you're not prepared to take responsibility for them and listen to your kids, and
They're not trying to have that. They just having kids so they can have money, or they just having kids so they can pressure a man into marrying them.
Well, and that can be a factor as to why some of these women do not. This be a factor about why some of them don't even know what's going on with their kids, or whatever, because they don't trust their kids.
They're just having them so they can have baby showers, so they can have the baby shower experience and the maternity shoot experience.
But what I'm saying is, but the thing is that the situation is that people really, like, the women don't care, and that's an issue. Now your mom, sounds like she cared. She tried to do things, but she tried to do things at a time it was too late. And she should have known beforehand. It's something where, like, it becomes your responsibility for a woman once you have the kids and you start, like, having an impact on them. It becomes your responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Once you bring them out here, you know what I'm saying, in this world, okay, you're responsible for them. You know what I'm saying? And how they grow up and stuff. Unfortunately, that's the case. So in point, your mom does have she can be blamed for that. Unfortunately, she can be.
She feels guilty about it. She does. Sometimes when I visit her and I'm in her room and I'm by myself with her, she does tell me that she's sorry and things like that.
I mean, but is sorry and is that sorry enough to atone for all the stuff that you guys went through for all those years? That's something you have to.
That's all she has.
But that's that has a lot to do with you guys.
The only plus thing I have to say is that she only grounded us. She never hit us herself. She never, not once, struck us.
Okay. And maybe that's because of what happened. Maybe that's it, because she feels guilty. But, like, it's one of those things, like, and your mom, she seems like she's a nice person. I met his mom and stuff. She seems nice, and she's, tries to do her best and stuff, And I think that, in all honesty, I think, I mean, sometimes people just get to stuff too late and they don't know. And maybe his mom didn't know because maybe she had never been told about something like this could happen, by anybody, maybe by her mom.
We eventually stopped telling her because of the demon man's, which is the abuser's zombification her.
But let me finish though. The thing is that I was saying that maybe she didn't know to do anything because she had never heard of anything like this. Maybe she didn't know how to respond to it, and she never knew what to do. Like, I guess maybe she didn't know that once you have kids, it's about taking responsibility and the things you have to do to make sure your kids are safe. Maybe she didn't know that, and that means that you have to think more about protecting your kids as opposed to just having some crumb off the street somewhere and worrying about a relationship rather than kids.
All I can say is that
Maybe she just didn't know that or wasn't taught that when she was growing up.
Plenty of people say, when somebody's just sitting there talking, and they're talking about knowledge they've gained about history, about black people, and about the Bible, and about how it came to be, and what it was done, and they say, you're a demon, you're Satan. That's light work.
We're gonna talk about that.
I know what that is.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I've seen it. You know what I'm saying? I've seen that stuff in action. And living that life daily for years, straight, without rest. Which is why I have a video called 48-hour sleep mode. Because the first time I finally got rest, I slept for 2 days straight. And my consciousness was out of my body just floating around looking at me.
Yeah.
I didn't have an astral body or nothing, but my consciousness was just out floating around. But, people say that, and I see that all the time. And I'm like, they're not a demon. Like, that's not Satan.
Yeah,
y'all don't know what the hell that even is.
We'll talk. I mean, we can elaborate.
You see what
about
I see, you go through what the hell I've been through, then you'll know what the fuck a Satan is. You'll know what the fuck a demon is then.
Yeah, I feel.
But somebody sitting there talking about information, you want to call them that, please. Or somebody's dead relative. Don't call my grandma a demon. She was helping my ass out.
I think that
if anybody's a demon, it's a person who's going to sit there, watch you pray, be omnipresent, have all the power in the world to stop it, and don't do jack shit and watch you go through it.
I think a lot of people may not understand what's going on. Are you okay?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people may not understand. As you said, they don't understand, the context of that, of what it, like what they're saying, because they don't really know. They basically just heard somebody else say it. They've heard other people saying, and they're just copying what other people are saying because, they're trying to be liked by the other people in the church. That's pretty much what they're trying to do, They don't really know. I mean, if they went through what you went through, they'd understand, And for him, he looks like, just talking about that is a lot. And it is. When you go through something like that, I want people to know how real it is. It's not something that's fake, is really real, And the thing is, and your emotions, his emotions can get mixed up because, talking about going through that, but then, his mom's there and he loves his mom and everything, and he's seeing everything and stuff. That's heavy as a kid, and seeing all that stuff and not having any answers. That's pretty fucking heavy. And, getting blamed by your sister, whatever the hell. That sucks. And, to be honest, I tell her, in my opinion, tell the sister, to me, I just tell her, you need to go see a counselor. You need to go and you need to place blame on the people who are, actually responsible, which would be your mom and your dad. That's who you need to place responsibility on for what happened, because they're the parents. Your brother's not your parent. I don't care if you think, oh, he's older or whatever. No, because basically she's just trying to use, you, her brother, as a scapegoat because she really doesn't want to blame her mom. She really doesn't want to, but really deep down, a lot of times people don't know that they have that anger towards people. They have something inside towards people that they never addressed, and because of that, sometimes people will carry out stuff. They will, feel like somebody owes them something because of what they went through. Maybe she feels like somebody owes them something, and I don't know. It's a possibility, because what she went through, maybe she feels some type of way about it, and, that remains to be seen, But, by and large, I think that, it's, and I will say this, it's not just the parents' job too. It's also, anybody around, the people at the church, they're responsible too. They should have been the people there to, Christians always say that they're there to help and, they care about the lives of their kids and, help anybody. Well, I think they're responsible too, because they should have been the people to call the police and, get you guys there and, during Sunday and, call the police, and the police tell you guys what's going on, and with you guys and stuff, and make sure the guy can be arrested. I think that's something that they should have did instead of just telling you to pray or something. That's fucking cop outs. You know what I'm saying? And really, what they should have did is they should have took responsibility. But I think that they didn't know what to do, or they believed so hard in this religion shit that they thought it was gonna do something that it didn't. And you got some people who are just so fucking brainwashed in Christianity that they're gonna think that's gonna do something. It's not gonna do. But yes, it is a part of the church's responsibility. Yes, if you have a bunch of people in there. I mean, how many people were in that church? Just be honest. How many people?
30.
Okay, so you got 30 people. And when you guys are going to church, are you guys showing any signs of any bruising, anything, or whatever? Can they see anything?
It was showed at school. It's everywhere. It's
okay. So even your teachers. So teachers at school, they're responsible too. Because what they should have did is they should have said, okay, yeah, something's not going on. They should take you aside. Hey, something going on, something wrong, or whatever. You and your sister both went to school. They should have, basically stuck their neck out and did something to help. And they could have called the police and did something.
Our abuser always told us what to say. He always told us what to say.
But
he always told us what to say in those situations. Well,
did you?
You say, that you fell down the stairs, that you got hurt playing.
So why did you choose to say those things instead of saying, "Hey, I'm getting abused at home"?
Because in my reality, those teachers will not be there to protect me once he finds out that I told them what he's been doing.
Well, some people watching may say, well, the police could have been called and he could have been arrested. And you guys may not have had to deal with him ever again if either one of you would have just said, or both of you came to the teachers and said something, he could have been arrested. But was it something, did you guys, did you think that he would just do something to, like...
We did think about calling 911. That was a thought.
I mean, at school.
When we thought about calling 911, we also thought about we're just kids.
Yeah.
They're not going to believe us. They're going to believe him over us. We're going to be seen and not heard. And we believed that it was going to be like the teachers. Where, the teachers would say, we would try to give them hints. Are you being abused at home? Are you, we would say, no.
So you could have just said, so you guys never took the chance to say, yes, we're being abused.
We tried, we said, we shook our head, yes. But he would sometimes appear at school during those questions because he has the time. He would appear sometimes and be there. And so we never knew when he was around. So we had to say, we shook our head, yes, but we're saying no, just in case he's around.
So the question that they're probably going to ask is, well,
But we did tell him once.
Okay, before. And what happened when you guys told them?
They called a conference. Okay. They called a parent-teacher conference.
Okay.
And they called him in. No police showed up.
Where was your mom at?
Work.
Okay, so your mom failed to be at the conference. He's not your dad.
Nope.
So did they ask if he was your dad or what? And what did you guys say?
He's our mom's boyfriend.
Okay, but so he's not your... So they're probably thinking that he's your dad, as opposed to saying, no, this is not my dad. My dad lives... did you guys tell them that your dad lived in such and such place?
They did not ask that question.
So basically you didn't think to say, well, this isn't my dad. My dad lives such and such place.
Wasn't smart enough.
Okay, so
we are only in thinking and survival.
Okay, so you guys did. So basically, they don't know.
Never been trained. Didn't know what questions to ask. Didn't know if there was the right questions. Didn't know what was available to us. Did not know.
Okay. So you did. So
didn't know.
Yeah, because with the parent teacher. So Had you guys ever been to parent-teacher conferences before?
Yes.
Okay, and who came to parent-teacher conferences?
My mom would have to call off for those.
Okay, so did you ever say to them, well, like, and I mean, you as a child, you're probably not going to know, like, going through what he's going through. He's thinking on survival instinct, and with very limited information. Like, what we know now, because when did that conference, like, remember what year that was? Just to give some emphasis on, like, what year that was.
I'm going to say 1997 because
Okay.
I was 7.
So, basically, around that
8,
time. Okay.
9 to 12.
That's fine. So, around that time, 1997, that would have been maybe during that time. Because I would have been. I was a kid myself for that time. But what I kind of want to say is, like,
you may be young.
With that, I mean, during 1997, I mean, during that time, I don't know if they would have talked about that, or the news would have talked about that, or you guys would have been able to see it because you guys didn't really get a chance to watch TV and stuff like that. So I think that in you guys' case, you're just going off of what you can go on. And I think
that's why we didn't call the police, because we saw what happened with the teachers. We saw what happened with our own mom. We saw what happened with the church. So if no one's there to help us, and not even if the higher power can't help us, if just God, this Jesus can't help us, then the police aren't going to be able to help us either.
Well, so I think, like, in that regard, like, there's not really a lot that you guys can do. But I will say that for the people watching, there is, and we're going to continue with the video too, because we got content to get through that I didn't get to. But the thing is that if you, and I will say this in the strongest of things, is that if you're somebody and, you yourself, like, if you are somebody who's getting abused, I don't know how old you might be, but if you are getting abused, what would your advice be to somebody who's getting abused?
Run away. Because I tried calling the child hotline. They came to a house. This is after my dad got custody of us when I was being molested. This time I was being raped.
Okay.
All the time, and now we were being mentally abused.
Okay, go ahead.
So I called the child hotline. They came to the house. It was like, oh, what's going on? And it's like, oh, we need to do an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And they found some weed on my dad or whatever. He didn't go to jail. It's not something they can put you in the jail for, apparently.
Okay, so.
And then we told them about what was happening, what type of abuse we've been in, what's been going on.
Okay. And
then they believed the parents over us. And so, once they left, we got hurt. A lot. No protection. So, child hotline doesn't work. It's there. It's there to pretend.
So, what did you mean when you say you got hurt? Was your mom in the home? Just to ask the question.
No.
So she wasn't in the home. Where was your mom?
Our mom was in Kansas City while we was in Sedalia.
Why were you stripped from your mom?
Because I told my dad what happened.
Okay, so basically
he was able to use that for him to get custody, because his girlfriend, which is my mom's enemy,
okay,
which has been since she was little, said that, well, go get the kids, get custody of them so that we can get child support.
Okay, so basically,
so it wasn't to protect us.
Okay, so but basically because of what you guys went through with the guy, then that factored in your mom losing you guys because of that. So basically, the way the law looked at it is that, because I'm pretty sure they asked her if she knew, and she would have said that she knew, and they would have found it as necessary to strip you guys away because of what happened. because she would have said, "Yeah, I know," and this and that other, but she wouldn't have been able to explain like why she couldn't leave and different stuff. So I mean, that would be a tough spot for her to be in, because she can't really explain why, you know, why she didn't leave and stuff like that. So that's tough. I mean, the thing is paranormal stuff that like the stuff he's gone through is it I don't know how many people it happens to, but maybe it's happening to people are like who knows, you know, maybe even people around the world, we really don't know, or you never know. I mean, people can be getting abused like right next door, or in your apartment building or anywhere. I mean, sometimes you don't know, and we don't know because I mean, we assume that people are taking care of their kids.
If you feel like, if you hear loud music being played all the time, be suspicious. Somebody's probably getting beat. You hear screams, somebody's getting beat.
Yeah.
So.
But
they're always playing loud music. They're probably not. You only see one car outside and it doesn't look like a party. Someone's getting beat.
Did you say anything else before I continue?
I'm sorry. I'm just letting know.
So we're gonna turn our attention back to the demons. I know we kind of had a long kind of interlude where we talked about stuff, but this has a lot to do with a demon in the flesh that a lot of people are not aware of that exists. What I do want to talk about is so demons can and I will go back to the church thing first before I forget. When people in church say that somebody's a demon or they're a devil or something, clearly they have no idea what they're talking about. They're just basically repeating something. It's the same thing as if you have a girl see another girl and she calls the girl a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're a bitch. They're just saying it because they hear somebody else say it. Because, they want to be like somebody else. Like, have you guys, if you guys are people who, you watch TV or something, we don't really watch TV. We actually don't watch TV because TV is programming, so we don't watch it. And we're trying to become more spiritually aware and spiritual awakening, open our third eye and stuff. And so, but we do watch some stuff, like we was watching that little kung fu movie or whatever with Jet Li. That was pretty funny today, actually.
That's fun.
It was actually fun. I like how it's older.
They don't really have.
They don't have movies.
They're just little kung fu movies. They don't really have anything in it that's trying to. Not that I've ever noticed. I never noticed an agenda behind their shit. Yeah. It's just a little story.
It's just something funny.
There's no Masonic shit in it. There's no bad Illuminati or some bullshit they're trying to get you to dream about and fuck up your dreams and make you think a certain way. I had never noticed that in those type of movies. They're old ass kung fu movies.
Well, yeah, I understand. I'm just saying.
They say, "Hi, my name is Joe," and they're still.
Well, what I'm just saying is that I'm saying people are just copying stuff because a lot of times because they see it on TV. Like, have you seen it with kids? Like, you have kids who they'll see something on TV, and they'll see a kid in the cartoon do something, or a cartoon character do something, and they do it. Because
my little cousin did it. She was watching. Her mom was watching Family Guy, and it's the episode where Lois got mad because Lois got mad because she was making a turkey for Christmas, and I don't even think it was Thanksgiving. It was for Christmas, and they didn't give her any appreciation, so she goes over to the trash can and dumps it over. As soon as my little cousin saw that, she was 5 at the time. She went right over to the kitchen trash can and she dumped it over.
Yeah. So, and we see adults do this too. For example, you have girls who will watch stuff like on MTV or what the hell, VH1 or whatever, and the reality shows. The girls will copy what they see in reality shows. Some guys will copy it. Like, for example, a big program, like a big TV show right now, Empire. A lot of people will copy off of what they see on Empire because Empire, everybody's watching it and they want to be like people on TV, and they want to have that type of life, and stuff. So that's not uncommon. People copy stuff all the time. People who copy the clothes, you know. I mean, they want to be like celebrities, and they feel like if they look and act like celebrities and stuff on TV, then you know people will like them. You know, so like with the church thing, it's not unusual with church because, you know, and hey, when they're watching TD Jakes, you know, they'll say the stuff he says on TV. You know,
The sad
they'll
part
say
is,
stuff like that,
is
you know,
that
like he says or whatever.
the sad part is that for demons to exist,
Yeah.
but the Jesus not exist doesn't exist, and the God of the Bible doesn't exist. That's the sad part. The sad part is that the bad shit is there, but the good shit really isn't there. You know, all of that, and not one
Well, that's
angel,
in a,
not one seraphim. Not
well,
one
we got to remember though, this is in a book, you know, for people. I mean, we got to remember stuff.
I mean, I know the history of it now thanks
But I
to
mean,
certain videos.
yeah, I mean, but I'm saying that the Bible's a book. It's a book with fictional characters. It's the same thing if I were to go and pick up a book about Clifford, the big red dog. You know what I'm saying? Clifford's not a real dog. You know, yeah, they would say he's a type of dog, you know, but he's not a real character. It's the same thing as, you know, like also
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man or Arthur.
So just because
or
Spider-Man
even,
has magazines about his life, does
Yeah.
that mean that he's real?
yeah, I
And just
mean,
because, I mean,
or like even like the Black Panther. Black Panther is not real. The people in that weren't real either. They were just fictional characters.
now
But
there's Wakanda.
yeah, but a lot of people wanted to be black and act all African and shit when they, you know, with that.
That's because they finally showed black people in a good light, and they only when they're shown in a good light do they want to be, you know, because do they want to be act like they're in a good light? It's the same with Christianity. You know, since Christianity is one of the things that black people use to be shown in a good light, that's what they'll go towards. You know,
Yeah, I think that they
instead
want to
of
use
making a
it.
path for themselves.
Yeah, and I think that's sad that they don't make a path for themselves because really you can be a good. You don't have to.
But history shows that we've already been shown in good lights because that's why, you know, the
Yeah.
Europeans wanted to F us up so bad and use the Bible and religion as weapons, you know, to disrupt the ancient African civilizations like the Songhai Empire, Mali, Kilwa,
Mhm.
Benin, and the Kumasi.
Yeah. So I mean, like, the thing is I feel like black people shouldn't, you know, shouldn't wait for a movie to put us in a good light. I feel like people should be doing something to help people, you know, just to do things. You know, there's a lot of people who go out here and they do things to help people, you know, like how you help people or I'll help somebody. You know, we don't need a fictional character to inspire us to do something. We just go and do something good just because. You know, not because we're getting something back, but because we're doing it because we know something's right to do it, as opposed to just, you know, trying to act a certain way and put up a certain image, which is what a lot of Christians do. But going back to the thing with the thing with Christians saying somebody is a devil or they're a demon or they're going to hell. Well, honestly, with that kind of shit, they really don't know what they're saying. They're just replaying a bunch of shit that they've heard. It's like the same thing with somebody wants, like listening to radio and hearing the same shit, or people saying stuff that
You know,
they
because
hear in
I'm
music
seeing it
videos.
and I'm looking at it. I'm like, they didn't hit nobody. I'm sitting there like, they ain't raping nobody. You know, I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm like,
But
they're
like,
just talking.
but what I'm saying is, it's the same thing as somebody being listening to the radio and saying the same shit they hear in songs. We hear people saying this shit all the time, you know, with the stuff. It's repeating lyrics and stuff like that, or using words from songs or catchphrases, trying to act like that and be big and bad when they're not. You know, so it's kind of like that. Now, demons. I will go and talk about with demons because I know it's like an hour in, but what I will say is that demons can, in fact, you can see them in person. They can exist in the, you know, here in the third dimension in the Matrix. They actually can. Me and A1, so we've been going together for 7 years. And me and A1, basically, we've had arguments. And we've had arguments and stuff. And sometimes we'll argue and you know, we don't even know what the hell we're arguing about. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those things where, like, and he hears something, and then I'll hear something, or we're arguing and we're thinking it's each other, but it's really not each other. It's, it's basically demons manipulating so we don't hear certain parts because we're upset and angry. Then they're having us miss certain parts of information that we don't hear because we're fueled by the emotion, because they're eating off you, manipulating you when you're in that lower vibrational state. And when you're arguing, you also release, I forgot what that hormone is, that you release while you're angry.
Norepinephrine.
So norepinephrine. So
the same hormone, that when you debate about religion, it's your fight or flight hormone. So whenever you talk about religion to somebody, and they're brainwashed in it, it's norepinephrine kicks up, which is why you can't get two words in or nothing ever gets through.
Yeah. So and that's something, you can't deal with somebody who's in fight or flight. There's no way to do that. But I think and I lost my train of thought because I've been talking so long. But anyway, to be honest, though, with us going back and forth arguing, yes, demons can, manipulate it. And sometimes it, and I think that because we don't see them because we're in this lower vibrational state. Also we were Christians too. So we were easy to be manipulated because we didn't know that there was such thing as, them manipulating. We really didn't know that. Nobody we'd heard of ever talked about anything like that before. So we didn't know that. Now I think sometime later anyone had found out about that, but it took for us to get out of Christianity in order for us to not be manipulated by that. But
we had to I had to take the initiative to consciously figure out what was going on, because I would have to, when we start arguing, I'm like, I just said that, or and I'll have to be like, okay, well, did you hear me? And it's like, okay, so somehow, because a lot of times, and every now and then it'll still happen. It actually happened today. I go to, I told her that she was beautiful today, and she was sitting right here in this chair, and I started rubbing her arm, and I wanted to give her a kiss, and she immediately popped off on me, so it's like that somehow they know how to transmute my positive energy, and as I'm giving my positive energy into her, they can make it turn negative by the time it hits her, even when I'm this close. And so, I don't know, they're experts at doing that shit. And I previously saged yesterday, so I guess it wore off, but simply because something was messing with my fucking gerbil, and she got scared. But that's just an example. Today, like I said, go to do one thing, you have a positive intention. You talk about intention. Intention is your intention. Well, it can be transmuted badly. Because she had a piece of paper and she was, pop out, I'm trying to read right now. Just get away from me right now, and things like that. And I was like, and then immediately it came back to me, and my positive energy was transmuted back into that negative energy, and now I'm automatically feeling like, oh well, maybe this relationship is pretended. Maybe she's just pretending. Maybe she don't really like me like that. She's not attracted to me. All that type of shit. So that's just an example that happened, today.
Well, I think with things like that, consciously, I haven't really figured that out. And for me, it's gonna take a while for me to get that. Because for me, I'm still not knowing. So I'm not an expert around that area. But I feel like for me, what my goal is I want to be able to have my eye open. That's one of the most important things, so I can understand how somebody means something, because I may not understand how somebody means something because I don't have a sense to understand how you feel, because I can't, it's like something where I can't put myself in you because I don't know. And that's something that's probably blocked because, it's probably something that's taking time for me to overcome and stuff. And this is something I think that happens when you're attempting to open your third eye, but you're having trouble, which I've had trouble doing it, and tried a lot of stuff, but it's one of those things where I just feel like
it's nothing that I did. You can. She'll tell you. I'm always showing her.
Well,
you don't have to genuality.
You don't have to explain, Anwan. I thought I was supposed to talk.
Oh, my bad.
What about me?
Go ahead.
What I'm just saying is for me, that's one of the goals of opening my third eye is to understand, because I can't. There's a major block where I cannot understand. I can understand some things, but not on that emotional level. I can't understand that, and I want to understand. So there's not something
Go
that
ahead.
I don't get.
Go ahead and tell me what it is exactly that you're trying to understand.
What I'm trying to understand is the emotional state of what somebody is in, to understand their energy, read their aura, see what their mental processes are. That's what I mean. Because I can't understand that. And so it's one of those things that I want to be spiritually aware enough on a higher, higher consciousness enough to understand that. And so there's a means where I can't understand that. And I mean, I understand why I can't. I understand why I can't feel like that. And that would have something to do when I was a kid, and like when I hit my head and stuff, it would have something to do with that. I don't know if I need to go into that or say that. I'm not sure.
Well, we're already an hour and 21 minutes in it.
I don't know if I should
You got, just spend like 5 minutes talking about the whole thing with the bike.
Oh, it's not that. I mean, what happened after?
With Ray Key?
No, I mean,
where people were the cloning thing.
Yeah,
people
I mean that. Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, I don't know.
We can talk about it.
So, I guess I can talk about that. I really haven't ever talked about that before. So when I was a kid a long time ago, what happened to me was I was following my brother and his girlfriend up this hill, and I was on my bike, and my big brother, I'm following behind him, and stuff. And you know how they tell you, you have a older sibling tell you to go home. Well, my brother told me to go home, and I didn't listen, so I kept following behind him, on my bike and stuff. It was like this, it was like a two-wheeler or something, but it was like one of those little cute little girl bikes and stuff. It's like kind of like a little cute little girl bike with the little handlebars, and it was like pink trim and stuff. It's not like a big it's not like a mountain bike. It wasn't like that. It was like a kid's bike, and it was a girl bike and stuff. It wasn't until later till I got like a mountain bike or anything. But I had a little girl bike, and so I'm following my brother, and stuff. And the brakes on this was not like a mountain bike where you do this. Well, of course not. It was basically, in order to brake the bike, you pedal backwards.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that. So it was that type of bike. Mountain bike would have been great, okay, for me, but at the time, I just had you pedal backwards to stop, okay? You stop, okay? So I was following my brother. My brother's like, go home, and I didn't listen to him, and so they kept going, and I was following them up this hill and kind of following down this street and stuff. And then they got to the top of this hill, and this hill was called Dead Man's Hill and stuff. And it was called Dead Man's Hill because this hill, you look down this motherfucking hill, I'm telling you. It looks like this. It's like straight going like this or whatever, and you can't see over the street. You can't see over it. I'll have to show you one day. You can't see over it. So the street goes like this, and then it goes like this or something like that, okay? This, and it goes down type shit like that and stuff, and keeps going. So, was that the kind of street that I should be following my brother behind him? No. Because they stopped and looked over the hill, and I saw it. I was like, wow, there's no... as a kid, I'm like, wow, there's no bottom. I'm sure there's a bottom somewhere. I'm like, wow. As a kid, I'm like, where's the bottom at? I can make it. I can do it. If he can do it, I can do it. And him and his girlfriend are riding these bikes, and my brother's like a teenager and stuff. He's like 15 or I think he's like 16 or so, 15, 16. And so they go down this street and they tell me again, go home. You know, my brother says to go home. His girlfriend told me to go home. I didn't go home. I was like, they didn't go. I can go. So I'll wait for them to go down the street. And what I'll tell you is that I went down the street. Went down. And I basically knew there was I couldn't see over, but I just started going anyway. And then, like, for some reason, I start going and pedaling to go down the street, even though I see a bottom. And then I start going down the incline of the street. And then, I kid you not, it seemed like I was going so fast. And then, like, it was like 30 seconds of like, oh, I can see 15 seconds of me going down and it seemed really fast. And then I lost consciousness. Everything to me went black. Like, everything's black. What I found out had happened is that I did go down the street, but I actually ended up basically going like this, going down the street, and when I was going so fast, I did lose consciousness, and then what happened is my bike hit this rock or something, like the small rock my bike hit or something, and then what happened is the bike stopped and went this way, like that, went that way, and skipped, like, basically was thrown that way. Me, because the bike went so it hit the rock, the bike went that way, off to the side. Me, from the hit of it, bike hitting the rock, I went forward, and instead I was like this on the bike, you know, like a kid sitting like this, you know, on the bike and stuff. Well, I got thrown forward. So I was like this, and basically I was like a fucking donut going like this, basically, like, I guess like a fucking wheel in the air or something like that, just fucking going, like, and my body was just like this, just going forward.
Like how you see it, like how you be seeing when them snowboarding people be going down the hills and they F up and they just be bloom, 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 bloom.
Well, I was in the air doing that.
Oh.
And then, what happened was that...
You mean you was like ragdoll, like off of my Saints Row 4 when you sitting there spinning in the air?
I was... Yeah, I was like...
Yeah.
I was doing that. And then, at some point, it ended up where I was like going through there and stuff. I was conscious, like, out of it. Like, blacked out and shit. And until I hit the ground. Hit the ground. Bam. And I hit the ground whereas my head hit the back. And I was like, just laid out. Okay? So, yes, I hit the ground very hard. Should I be alive? Well, I don't know. It's a miracle that I was alive, but what happened after that is basically...
I wish I could say that was God or Jesus for you, but I can't say that.
Well, what I remember was that I don't remember the impact of hitting the ground with my head hitting the back. I don't remember doing that.
I guess I could just say that your ancestors was watching over you. I guess I can put it that way.
I think during the time that I was going through the area stuff, I remember being in this cloud-like place or something. And I was like in the clouds, and it's like I was up in the clouds, and you know, it was like that was during the summer. I was in the clouds, just chilling in the clouds. And it wasn't until and I was just chilling in the clouds, so I was thinking, man, what a beautiful day, you know, looking at the sun and everything and the clouds and stuff. And it wasn't until I thought about my body that I found myself waking up, and I was in this, so I woke up in this ambulance, and I saw like my uncle or something. I saw one of my uncles and stuff, and there was like a guy in the ambulance and stuff or whatever. And you know, at the time I thought I was, you know, I was just, man, I was like having so much issue, like man, I had the hardest time staying awake. The guy's like, can you stay awake? Can you stay awake? It's like, do you know what happened? I'm like, no, you know. Like, I'm like, drowsy. I'm like, no, I don't know. Like, and this is how hard I hit my head to the point where I couldn't really keep consciousness at all. He's like, can you stay awake? Can you stay, the guy named was, can you stay awake? Can you stay awake? I'm like, no, I can't stay awake. And I was just out again. I remember bits and pieces of memories of I remember memories of like a hospital, I guess, being rolled down a hospital, wing of a hospital, something about a helmet, me wearing a helmet or something for my doctor or something. Um, you know, uh, I mean, bits and pieces of things that I really can't too much remember. And I remember waking up in a hospital bed, and stuff. But I think they said that I slept for a day or so, when I woke up. So, with that, I mean, I just woke up and stuff. And my mom had to come from like an hour. Like, so my mom was an hour away. My mom was in another state. Okay. I was in St. Louis, but me and my brother were visiting for summer break. And so, we actually were visiting for that. And, so my dad, I guess he was notified or whatever, because my dad lived here in St. Louis, and I was born in St. Louis too. But my mom was like, hell, my mom was in Indiana, so she's like 3-4 hours away. And she found out, and my mom found out, and she was at work. She drove all the way here, and like nonstop here, because she had heard what happened, and she didn't know if I was okay. And so she came here and stuff, and it took her to the next day to get here, actually, because she had to work, and then she found out the news, and then she got sick to come here and stuff. And she and my, I believe it was she and my, I think it was she and my grandma came to pick me up or whatever. My dad didn't get a chance to come yet. I guess he was working or something. But I basically, yes, I suffered a concussion. After that, the concussion, I felt really weird. After that, I felt like something wasn't right after that. Like after that incident, I used to be like amazingly gifted. I used to like be like, like on the like genius list in school, and I was tested for that when I was really young, like as a genius and stuff, and I was. And after I got had that incident that happened, I noticed that I didn't feel as smart as I was anymore. I felt like there was something terribly fucking wrong after that happened. And I couldn't put my finger on what it was. And for years I'd sit and wonder about it. And then what happened is, some years down the road, so this happened when I was like, I think I was like 8, 9, maybe. So, what happened is some years down the road, like when I'm a teenager, like I think I was like 15, 16, maybe, maybe even 17. 17, I experienced weird. Actually, no, I was in middle school, and I was like 15. And I went to the store with my mom, and I saw this guy. My brother was at work, and I saw this guy, okay? And this guy that I saw, I was at this checkout, and I saw this guy, and he looked just like my brother. And I was like, oh my God, this. And I showed my mom, like, Mom, this guy looks just like my brother, And my mom was like, no. And I knew the guy wasn't my brother, but he looked so close to like my brother that if they would have arrested this guy or something, they could have put my brother in jail. So, so my brother was at work at the time. He worked at like a fast food place, like Long John Silver's, which is like a fish fast food place or whatever. And at the time when I saw this guy, when I was in middle school and saw this guy like my brother, I had no idea how much this experience was going to impact me. And the reason why I said that was that some years later, I was at a store. I was like 17 or 18, and I was going to the store for my mom. And I had this lady came up to me and said, "Hey, did you used to work at this Jack in the Box? And I was like, no, no, ma'am, I've never worked at Jack in the Box. Oh, you look just like this girl that worked at this Jack in the Box. And I was like, what? You know, and I never worked at a Jack in the Box. You know, I worked at Six Flags, but that was like when I was like 17. But I had never worked at a Jack in the Box, and I was kind of confused, and I just pushed it off like there was nothing. Then sometime down the road, like, and I've had this happen a lot of times where people would come up to me and say that they saw me at this place or that place, and they were certain it was me. Like, I was in college, and this couple came up to me when I was working as a usher in this theater and stuff where they do plays and stuff, and they said, "Oh, well, oh, we saw you, you know, oh, we saw you last Sunday, you know,
That's
at this
fucking
place."
recent.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago.
When they just say shit like, "I saw you last Sunday."
Yeah,
Damn.
they said it was last Sunday. This was when I was in college and I was at work, and I said, "Well, I'm sorry, you have to be mistaken. I wasn't there because I was here working that night, and I was on the clock that night, so here, and there's a lot of people who saw me here. So, you know, there's no way I was there because I was here, you know." And so, and I'm like, I've never seen you guys before in my life, ever. So I unfortunately, I don't know who you're talking about. You know, so I was just like, I'm sorry, but I've never seen you before. No, I don't work at such and such, you know. And they said they saw me last Sunday. And I'll tell you something, I think it was like, and I've had it happen off and on. Now, the crazy thing is, in my neighborhood, there was these two little girls, I think it was like last year or so. It was like last year. These little girls said, two little girls, two white girls, and stuff, they're so cute. So they said, the little girl was telling about where her dad owned this restaurant, and the other girl's dad owned. They both the dads own the restaurant and stuff, you know, and stuff, you know. And I guess the girls' moms were gone, and they're talking about their dads, whatever the dads had them playing at the what the hell, the playground. Okay, so they had them playing the playground, and then the little girls came up to me and said, hey, because the little girl sees me all the time, little blonde girl, blue eyes and stuff. Her mom's so nice. So the little girl came up to me and they were talking. You know how kids talk. And the two little girls said, hey, I saw you. I saw you earlier today. And I was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you saw me earlier today? And they're like, yeah, we saw you earlier today. At my daddy's restaurant, we saw you. And I was like, I'm like, no, dear, you couldn't have seen me at your daddy's restaurant. I haven't gone to a restaurant today. I've been at home all day, you know. And I was freaked out, like, and I had no idea what the hell was going on. And you guys might be saying, if you've been hearing all these years that people have seen you places, you know, is it you going, or, you know, are you sure you didn't go? No, I'd never gone to these places. I've never worked in these places before. I've never been to little girl's, you know, dad's restaurant. I never been to where this black couple said I was at. I never been to where worked at this Jack in the Box where this lady was talking about, or where other people said they saw me. I never was at these places ever. I've never seen these people before. Now, a little girl down the street, I've seen her, you know, because she lives in my neighborhood. But the creepy ass shit to hear that earlier that day I was somewhere and I know for a damn sure that I wasn't. Yeah, that was a little spooky. So after that, I was like, you know what? Okay, if there's this person, I need to figure out where they're seeing this person, because I need to meet this person to see what these people are talking about. So I think what I did was that I guess I got some kind of, you know, tip or whatever that this person was out in a certain area where where, you know, like far out from me or something. And it was out in an old neighborhood where I used to live out. It's like 20 minutes or 30 minutes away. And so I drove out there, and, you know, it's a tip of like the store or something in the area that the girl that looked like me worked at the store. So I was like, okay, well, we'll just go in the stores and see, you know. And so this one particular store, um, I went into the store. It was like a craft store. Went into this craft store and stuff. And I actually like, going to the craft stores and stuff. So went into the store and stuff. And what ended up happening was that I went in the store and I went to go to the counter. I said, yes, I'm looking for my friend. I, I need to talk to my friend. She works here and stuff because, I have to tell her something or whatever. I have some news for her to tell her, And basically, I'm going to, try to find out and find this person. So I'm walking around the store looking for the person. I did ask the person at first, and they didn't know. So I walked around the store to see if I could find the person, and see if they were there. And I went back up to the desk, and I asked again. I said, excuse me, I'm looking for my friend or whatever. And they kind of got me at what the girl's name was, and I wasn't really sure what her name was. But the thing was, when I asked the people, they got really funny. They got real funny about the person, who it was and stuff. Oh, she went home or this and that. I'm like, why are these people making excuses? And I'm thinking, oh, I must be fucking close then. And then they're telling me she left earlier in the day or whatever, and stuff. And I was like, this is weird. So, I'm getting closer to, so the person must work at the store. So I waited to come back. And when I came back in the store another day, then I came back and it was weird. It was like the fucking manager was walking around and stuff, and he was like looking around, and the employees were all like fucking on watch and stuff. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with these people? I'm like, what's going on here? Like some kind of crazy, spooky shit like you see in a movie, like CIA kind of shit, And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And no, I didn't meet the girl that day. And I'll never know what, exactly happened with her. But, to be honest, like, guys, I mean, the weird thing is to tell you the truth. From when I got that injury and I thought that there was something terribly wrong, I know for a fact now that I was cloned. As a kid, I know I was cloned. I don't know when, the other person was made, or I don't know. But I do know that I was cloned because people said they start seeing me everywhere. And it just got so bad to the point where, like, people saying they see me here, there, wherever, And I'm just like, what the hell's wrong with these people? At first, I thought it was a joke when I first heard it. But after you hear it so many times, you start to question what the fuck's going on, And do I believe it's real? Absolutely. Because people said they saw me everywhere. And then I saw that guy that looked just like my brother. But I knew it wasn't my brother, but he looked just like him enough. If somebody were to see my brother and see this guy, they think they was the same person. So I know for a fact that there's something to the thing with people being cloned. There's something to that. It's not like it doesn't happen because...
I mean, maybe they're trying to tell people with Fallout 4, with the whole sense. Maybe they're trying to tell people.
Oh yeah, how they make the sense or something with Fallout?
Maybe they're trying to tell people that that's a real thing, but they're trying to hide it in the game. Like, when you're more on a spiritual awoken level, to know that they try to hide these type of things in games and movies, and they're trying to get the information out, but they can't come out and tell you it exists. But they gotta make you think and give you movies and give you games and have it kind of match up with other stuff so you can see what it's talking about. Yeah. Like in the game, how it's talking about child of Adam. And we know about the Adam, that's supposed to be the Bible's about the Adam and God and things like that. So child of God, child of Adam. And it's about a woman who gave birth to a son. And, and that's the splitting of an atom with the woman. And then you got the splitting of an atom when the man splits the atom, it's a bomb. So those little tiny things. And now they telling you about sense. So they're trying to tell you real stuff. So that whole synth thing might be a real thing. The cloning thing might be a real thing.
It is. And wait, where are you going? Oh, I thought she was going to yeah, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen that song. There's two songs that Britney Spears has. She has the song, If you guys have ever seen it, the video Lucky. If you've ever seen that video where the Lucky video, you know, and Britney Spears is singing about the girl who's a celebrity who's lucky, right? And she's famous and all this stuff. And then you got her and you got the celebrity, her, and they look the same. It's two of them, right? And you get that part in the video where the celebrity Britney sees Britney. They both see each other. The celebrity one's in the limo, and then she's outside the limousine, and they see each other. And they look exactly the same. And, you know, and they just look at each other. And then, like, they feel, it's like they, in the Britney is the celebrity, has a tear going on her eye. They're both like, it's like, they're actually one consciousness or whatever, and they're both two halves of it. I think Britney Spears also had a song, which was called, what was that? I listen to it all the time. Okay, a song called Break the Ice. That song is basically a song where she has been cloned, and basically it's like cartoon in it, but basically she is trying to destroy all the clones of herself. You know, that's a damn dead giveaway when she did that one. You know, and talking about that in the video, you know, even though it's a cartoon, it's still, you know, you still can understand it. Now, spiritually, I understand what they're talking about. Yes, they're talking about cloning. They're talking about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? They hide it in different stuff. Yeah, when you see stuff, yes, there's more to it than you know what to do with. Do I believe I was cloned? Yes. And we've also
seen... Twilight Zone had something where, I don't know if it was Alfred Hitchcock or...
No, Twilight Zone.
Or Twilight Zone, where they was changing people to look like you. Different souls, and it wasn't necessarily
they look
cloning,
the same, though.
But they would say, I look just like you. It's a whole different person, a whole different soul in there, whole different personality in there. But they get to look just like you.
Oh, yeah, but there is something. What am I saying? There is something. Remember when we was watching that movie Moon? When we was watching that? If you watched Moon and you see that, man, that movie, you cannot tell me that the cloning shit's not real, because
they talk about cloning. They talk about how they program your minds. Like Sense. I'm not shitting you. It's just like
Hell
that.
Yeah, it's just like
that with Fallout. Except it's about this guy on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
And and you got to pay attention because it's going to say Sam. Have captions on, because it has like original Sam, you know, and then they have like Sam. And then it's going to have one where it says original Sam. When they say original, the person who's living on Earth, who's not actually up there on the moon, and there's so many clones of them. And they all think that they're real. They all think that they're the original.
Oh my gosh. Like, it's crazy. I do want to get back to the demon thing, because I forgot about that.
All right, well.
I will recap with that.
Are you going to split the video? Because like,
I will. Yeah, I am going to. Yeah.
Right, cool.
Of course I'm going to. So what I will say is, I mean, people in church don't know what demons are. They have no idea. I have, in real life, I've actually seen, so I have been meditating, and stuff last year and stuff. And, I had meditated, I think, for like at least a year or 9 months or so, whatever. And I meditated. Actually, this was when I was like at 3 months of meditation by this time. And because that's, about 3 months. And I started seeing, like, you know, I was under the impression, so I had 2 experiences. One experience was where I was walking around my neighborhood, walked past this White Castle, and I was walking down the street, and it's like this busy street, walking up the street, going this way. And I was walking up the street, and I was in a happy mood and everything, you know. And it was a nice day and stuff, too. And then I walked past this one person, and the person was fine. But then there was this, I noticed that I was walking, and then this guy was walking down the street and I was walking up the street, and I saw this guy, and this guy was like, he was like all black, like he had on like black clothes, black glasses, and like it's like something was like wrong with this guy. He's like had all black, and this guy was playing this like strange music, like this rock music, but I thought it was rock music, but then I couldn't understand what the hell was being said on the damn the radio he's had or whatever is his music or something, and I didn't understand what the words were, and then the guy looks at me, and he has this smile, but it's like this evil, fucked up like smile. It's like I could just say this dude was like a demon in the flesh. But I knew that it wasn't the guy. The thing that was smiling at me was not necessarily the guy. The guy had been corrupted by, I believe, by a demon. And the demon was smiling at me because what I got from it after meditating, because I was at this point of consciousness, that I'd understood that the guy who was walking around, that had the soul in the body or whatever, he had been corrupted so much to the point and been brought down so low on the lowest vibration that, the demon that was in him was basically done with him, and he was looking for a new person, a new body to get into. And he looked at me, and he was smiling at me, and I was like, no, like, no, and I was, because it just seemed weird, because I knew this guy was going to just discard this person. Like, I knew this demon was going to just get rid of this guy. I knew he was going to just cast this guy off. Like, basically, he was going to kill this guy off, basically. And that was an experience that I saw with a demon being in a person. Was my third eye open? No, but it's just the vibe, like the vibe, the way the guy looked, and just what I got from it intuitively. And what
you can
I
tell
can take away
when your aura cracks another person's aura, and that aura mixes. That's where you start
it
feeling
was
some
bad.
shit.
Like it was fucking creepy.
You're gonna get those vibes. You're gonna get those vibrations.
It was too strong too, and I think that the demon had felt my aura and felt that it was on a higher level, and I guess he wanted, the like my body, but I was like, no, I know what you are, I know you corrupted. I'm not doing that. I'm not on that, Once you start meditating, you can start to see certain things and observe stuff. Now, I'll tell you another example, too. Another example of a demon in the flesh or something. And I said this a couple times. So, there's been occasions I was in college, or actually I graduated, and I went to my college. And one time I pulled into the college, and I just was sitting there. And then I saw this person sitting in the car. It's this guy sitting in the car. And he turns around, he's like this at first. And then he turns around and looks at me. And then he has this like, it's just this look. It's like this some type of, I would describe him as like a devil look. Like, and maybe demon, because I know the devil doesn't exist.
You mean sinister.
Yeah, it was like a very sinister look that he had. And he was just looking at me because I was doing something I was working on a business. And he was like, is a sinister look, and he was just looking at me. And he was really mad, too. And the creepy-ass thing is when I finally came back out from school, this guy was still sitting in the car and looking at me. And so I pulled out and left. And I was like, what the hell, and stuff. And I was like, damn, that's a weird-ass thing, And then, like, and that happened to me a couple of times with seeing the person. Where I would see it in other people too. Like when I went to Walmart. I went to this Walmart and I walked in and I walked in and I saw a black guy. At the school was a white dude, had sinister look. But I walked into Walmart and I crossed paths with the guy was walking out, he was coming out, I was going in to Walmart. And in like the area between the doors and stuff, sign doors open and stuff like that, right? They already got the fans and shit. I saw this black guy walked out and he had this look on his face. And it was sinister again. Now I was convinced I was looking at the devil because the guy had this sinister look. And it was the same damn look that the white guy had. The same look. Exactly. Didn't matter if it was a black dude or they even a white dude. It didn't matter because it was just the same fucking look. And I knew it was something up. I was like, okay, this is the same thing. I thought it was the devil, but I'm going to say it was a demon. Because of the same look. It was just, the look was just too perfect. It was too identical, to the same. It didn't matter about the bodies. It was about the people. You know, that he could just get in these people and have the same damn look. You know. And I knew that it was a demon. And I could say it was because I walked in a store. There's another black guy. He brought this service dog in, and it was a little puppy and stuff that they were training for a service dog. And what happened was this dog was in there, and I pet the dog and stuff. And I guess the demon guy was still around or something. The demon that was in the guy was still around because this dog was in there, and I pet the dog. It's fine. I'm almost done. I knew it was something wrong because there was a dog inside. It was a service dog. And this dog was scared to shit. The dog started like peeing on the floor and he was shaking and everything. The dog wasn't like that at first. Like the guy brought the dog in and then he set him down and stuff. But this dog all of a sudden became scared for no reason. Like start peeing on the floor and everything. I'm like, excuse me, your dog is peeing on the floor. You know, dog is scared shitless. Like it's just scared. And I'm like, okay. That's that same demon. That's him. That's the guy from before. And I knew that was that same demon from before. It didn't matter it was in the white guy at first and it was black dude. It didn't matter because I could tell from the situation of I could tell just how it was and I could finger it exactly because I knew it. And I was like, and I walked out of the store. I was like, you know, and the people didn't know the dog was peeing. I said, well, your dog's peeing. Like, oh, sorry. You know, they're like, oh, the black guy was like, what service dog was like, oh, we're just training the dog and stuff, trying to get him used to helping people. And I was like, well, isn't it like a demon to try to mess with something that's going to be a dog that's going to try to help somebody who needs help, you know? And I walked out of the store, walked out because I was leaving. And then I walked out the store and I said out loud, you know, I told the demon, I said, you better leave that dog alone. I said, leave him alone. And I was so fucking serious because I knew he was trying to get at that, mess with that dog and stuff. Like he was around the dog or something. And I told him, leave that dog alone. Leave him alone. Don't you mess with him because I knew it. And people want to, you know, church people want to say they know what a demon is. No. You have no idea. If you've seen what I saw, the occasions I saw, you can know. And if I saw that guy today, like the demon today, I know. Now, we have had instances where, yes, we know demons can get into people because it's happened with our neighbors. We had this neighbor that lived upstairs, and this guy had this lifestyle and stuff that he'd have girls upstairs and stuff or whatever, and he'd stomp and everything. Now, the craziest shit is we knew it was a demon in this dude that lived above us. We kind of knew it because he'd knock on the walls at these odd times in the morning and stuff. Just knock, 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 and fucking walk around. And we didn't know what the fuck was going on. It was like, what's going on?
He would always knock 3 times, and then he would walk back and forth. He would walk back and forth in the house. And from the living room to the bedroom. Then he'd knock 3 times, walk back and forth, knock 3 times, walk back and forth. He would do it the same way over and over and over.
Yeah, and it was like fucking weird. And at first, I think he started off doing that like I don't know if he did it in the middle of the night or if he did it like, sometimes he'd do it during the day. And it was like.
Sometimes at night, sometimes during the daytime.
And it was weird. Now, I'll tell you what's weird is that we've noticed that that guy has since moved or whatever. But we do know that the guy was, you know, we don't know for certain, but we can only, basically, we know that there was a demon upstairs in that apartment because when that guy leaves, then the demon, we know that neighbor across the hall starts to act weird and do shit, and demonic stuff, because when one person's gone, then, the demon has to go get somebody else to get on you and start messing with you. Now, we noticed it, the demons going and using other people, which is what Anwan meant, that they can take advantage of people who are Christian and who are matrixy and stuff, because those people are not going to question what they're doing.
Now, listen carefully.
Yeah.
We was Christians during that time.
When?
We was Christians during the time of him.
Stomping around, yeah.
During the time of the demon getting at us and things like that. We was already Christian then. So, and baptized. I was already baptized.
That was what we were arguing. But when we got out of it, though, and I started meditating. So when I noticing the demons and stuff. That's when I started noticing the people at that point.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that.
Well,
when he was doing what he was doing upstairs and doing that, when we was arguing, when it jumped into him, we was Christians during that time, actually. So, how people say shit like, oh, this guy was asking me to help save his life. He was being chased. On Facebook, he was being chased. But I just looked at him. I told him, there's nothing I can do for him. But since I'm a Christian, and all the people in the comments are saying that God had his sort of protection around you. Okay. So we're sitting here talking about how demons is real and how they manifest and how they get into people. So that automatically makes you think, well, if that's real, then God is real and Jesus is real. But what did I just go through and tell you? Obviously, that's not real. So so now it's like, so now what do we do? So if demons is real and and if that's supposed to be real, if demons is real, how come, all that other stuff is supposed to be real? But the thing is that, it still affected us. They got to us.
Yeah,
it still got to us. We didn't have no shield of protection around us, even though we've been baptized, even though we go to church every Sunday, and some Bible studies on Wednesdays, and go on Wednesdays, and repent all the time, and repent before bed, and So I don't know. So if you're thinking that way, we was already Christians then.
Yeah,
we was already following the whole thing.
But we've seen demons both when we were Christian and when we were not Christian. We've seen them in both lights. So it's like, if we see them in both things, then, you have to, I guess he's going to, the God of the Bible and the Jesus, what about those things? How come they're not proving themselves to be real? Because there's people who are going to say, well, Jesus revealed himself to me, or the God of the Bible revealed himself to me. They'll say God revealed himself to him and stuff. And you know what? I'll tell you, you got some people on YouTube who, man, they're sitting here with pieces of paper. This chick was on YouTube, for real, had this whole piece of paper written out about her, this experience she had with God and how he would, call her daughter and this and that other.
Fucking script to say.
Yeah, and I mean, for real,
you paid her to say.
Yeah, you have tons of people who would get on social media and YouTube and they'll lie about stuff. And I can't believe people will say to you, when they're coming to your channel, that Jesus revealed themselves to them. That they actually saw Jesus.
But they're lying, because when you go through the history and you look at the history, you find out that Jesus didn't even exist. You do find out that Serapis Christos existed, and that his name was, and that they changed him into a Jesus Christ. But you can find Serapis Christos, but you can't find no Jesus nowhere. You can't find any of these people's grave sites. You can't find no DNA strands, no blood, DNA, nowhere. You can't find this stuff.
But people are probably gonna say, well, what about that? What about that movie? I think it was a movie where they're talking about looking for Jesus' bloodline or something. I think we saw it or something and stuff. It was a movie
about Mary.
Yeah, and tracing the Mary back.
That was about the birth. That was about the birth. It was about the woman. It was about the parable in the Bible about the woman.
Yeah.
That's what it was about.
Yeah,
the
in the
womb.
bloodline.
It was about the whole thing about. That whole thing was about the womb. That basically just told on the Bible. Basically, it basically just gave you the parable right there in the movie. But if you don't know that and you ain't read it and you
Yeah, I
haven't
think
done
at the
research
time,
about
I
it,
don't
you
know if
wouldn't
we knew that at the
No,
time.
we didn't know it.
We didn't know that at the time. And even stuff like, like, I mean, and I know people are going to say, well, I've seen movies with Jesus, Passion of the Christ, and, that's that movie where there was a
Well, they
little
lied.
boy.
I'm sorry. They lied to y'all.
What about
Because Jesus didn't die.
in that movie with the little boy where Jesus was white or something, and it was about Jesus' childhood or something.
Yeah.
But that's not possible. I mean, there's no, like you said, there's nothing tying him back in history. I mean, we can go back and find where our ancestors were buried, but we can't find this Jesus.
I mean, we know that thought forms is real.
Yes.
So you could come out of your body and maybe see one since a lot of people's consciousness is making it. You can come out of your body and see a heaven that is to the detail of the Bible because
What is it?
everybody's consciousness is focusing on it. You can come out and see a hell that is exactly like the Bible and exactly
because it's how you think it up.
Because everybody's consciousness is creating it on that place. It goes somewhere. That energy creates still, and if everybody's holding that in place, it's an experience you can have when you come out of your body. That's a thought form. Because
that makes so much sense.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's.
So if you say you had a dream or,
yeah, like they said, Jesus
outer body
revealed himself
experience, you have to know how to tell what a thought form looks like and what a human looks like. So far through research, I find that humans have souls and they light up. Thought forms don't. There are thoughts and they don't light up. So
yeah,
there you go.
And that's very true. And there's people, and I know people are gonna say, oh well, what about that that interview that little boy did about seeing. I think he said the little boy had, and I don't know. The boy said, I don't know if he said he saw God or he saw Jesus or something or whatever.
Well, I mean, let's think about it.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
Well, not the movie. It was a video.
Heaven is real or some shit.
Not that one. It was the video, where it was the one on YouTube. Well, so you got Heaven is Real. There was two situations. There was one with the boy.
Then you got War Room.
Oh yeah.
But these are movies, and you know that with movies,
yeah, absolutely,
that they're there to not give you the real message. You know what I'm saying? If they are putting it in a movie, I mean, we're talking about the same people who's putting out all your sin and all your lust and all your Illuminati stuff and all your, the stuff that y'all, Christians fear and everything. You're advertising Lucifer, the actual series and the movie about.
Oh yeah, I thought that was ridiculous. Like, are you serious?
So all that. Then you got Family Guy making fun of Jesus stuff. So if that's
making
all
fun of
if
the
that
God
fucking
and
shit
Jesus,
was real, then what would you do? So it's like, so what do you guys do for demons then? So what we do is we take it back to the old ways that they did it.
Yeah.
Before any religion. You do the sage. You sage, we use our spiritual energy and we use our imagination to create a bubble. Because why? Because they're on the side. They're on the side of where your imagination and your thought forms and where they're created. So when you're thinking shit, it appears over there on that side where it affects them on that side. Mm-hmm. So that way they can't do shit. Because you don't see it. Well, not until you come out of your body, then maybe you can then. But since it's a thought form also as well, a thought form will affect the thought form. Physical will affect physical. So
absolutely. So yeah, I know this has been a long, kind of lengthy kind of thing.
And since plants are real and sage is real and sage has a high vibration because it is a plant and it absorbed a whole bunch of melanin from the dirt. When you burn it, there you go. It's in your atmosphere all over the house. It would put along with your intention, so therefore it should be good.
Yeah. So
my gerbil's fine now, by the way. So it did something.
Because it was weird yesterday. So he was laying down here in the living room, and she was just standing in place, just like this, And then I start hearing this like in her cage, and she wasn't moving, And I was like, what the hell is that? And then it kept happening, knock, knock, and then knock, knock, and I was like, wait a minute. What the hell is that knocking? And then I didn't put two and two together, like, about that dude, because that guy doesn't live upstairs anymore. And we don't hear anything like that, and it was in her cage. And you know, I've heard about somebody on YouTube saying that who happens to be like a medium and stuff. Her YouTube name is Meditation Bridge, and she was talking about how there have been, I think she said there was like beings or demons or lower vibrational entities that were messing
She
with her
was
birds.
talking about, because she watched this thing called Stranger Things too.
Yeah.
After she watched it, it got in her house and it was fucking with her bird.
Yeah, whatever the lower thing was or whatever from Stranger Things actually did something, and that tells you some. Now that I've never heard of something like that coming in and messing with stuff. I mean, wow, that's heavy, you know, with stuff. And if you guys have watched Ryan Cropper's channel before, what he had a video about how he faced like
Shadow beings is called
Shadow
I
Beings.
Died, Faced Shadow Beings, and something else. I don't.
You don't have to write it down.
I'm not writing it down. I'm just gonna tell you the correct name because I said it before.
Yeah.
And you guys, I might as well just tell you the correct name.
Okay, well, we'll wait on you.
Don't worry, I'm pretty organized. My phone's organized on my music and everything, so I'll find it in just a second.
Look at him with that big cheese on his face.
I know I had a sad face earlier, but
it's been crazy. But we, you know, with these collabs, we're like totally real about shit. Like, I still got on this stress from work. Like, man, like, oh my gosh, I'm still got this stress from work, and I'm just, man, I know I'm gonna just like sleep. Like, I know I'm gonna sleep every tomorrow and stuff because I gotta go to work tomorrow and stuff and work.
Okay. I died, battled shadow beings, and got over fear. My radio interview. That's what it's called.
And that's for Ryan Cropper's channel. So
Yeah.
that's the video that.
That's where you're going to find out about beings on that side, what they do to you at night, how they give you nightmares, and that's where you're going to find out about there's no such thing as giving up all the guilt and all your sin and treat people like shit and just going out and doing it again every time, every week, and giving it up to God. That's where you find out that you have to go through this thing called a life review, where your consciousness is going to be put into all the people that you hurt for as long as that pain has affected them.
Yeah.
That's real, and he talks about that in there.
Wow.
So check that out.
Yeah, guys. So check that out. Also check out Meditation Bridge, and you know, we would like you to comment. And we'd like you to comment because we talked about a whole bunch of stuff, but since we don't know what you're thinking, we'd like you to ask questions or comment so we can know that you guys watched it and see what you guys thought. Likes don't really do anything because from likes we don't know. People can like something that they really don't. They just go by and like something for seeing it for a minute or so.
If you want to know the history about the Bible and things, basically, if you want to know the history about the Bible and stuff, the main ones, what it's about, what you got to do to like catch up, like if you don't know it, I'm always talking about it. Okay, there's a guy called the Real Merkaba. Okay, now
and he's on YouTube.
He's on YouTube. So when you type that in, type in these things. Jesus is the Son, S-U-N, and not the Son. Okay, the hidden code of the Bible. There is no religion. Okay, I'm gonna just give you the main ones. The main ones. Okay.
Go ahead, honey.
There is no religious debate. Understanding how Africans received the Bible full. That's the first. Good. That's the first one. Okay. Then do where did the Bible come from, and then do the main one, which is the Bible, Christianity. It's called That's Game, the Bible and Christianity Finally Explained. Okay, those are the main ones. Okay. You should be all caught up after that.
Yeah. And if you want to know, we can
not fully caught up, but you'll have enough knowledge to know where the Bible came from.
Well, if you want us to link you to the channel or something, or the videos in particular, just let us know. But yes, do comment so we do know that you know what you guys want to know, and if you want to give us any ideas about any videos to do. Because we kind of do videos based off of our everyday experiences and things we encounter. Because I got the idea to do it about demons because, you know, I know that demons mess with us, and today a demon was messing with me. So I was like, oh, let me just do a video about demons, you know, because if I do a video about them and they want me to pay attention to them, then if I write a video, then I can inform other people about them so they know. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if people talk about it. I know that if you type it with demons, you're probably going to run into a lot of, you know, Christianity videos on some bullshit about demons, and they don't know anything about demons. I mean, Anyone's had first-hand experience with, you know, demons. So yeah, definitely. So he knows the stuff about it with demons and stuff, and it's real. It's not, you know, he's not making anything up. You can tell by the emotions and how he looked, you know, in this video and stuff. And me asking the questions may have been tough, but you know, I wanted to get out questions.
I'm telling the truth. I'm
Yeah.
not telling a lie. I can, you know, if I get to be 100 years old without Alzheimer's, ask me the same shit. I'm going to tell you the same thing.
Yeah, and that's and I appreciate that you're willing to, you know,
Don't worry.
you didn't go and hit the ceiling.
There's no different versions of the truth. It is what's going to be. It is as I'm going to tell you, because it's what really happened. It's history.
Yeah.
History is fact, and fact is true. So it's just the way that it is.
And the Bible, I want to say this: the Bible is not. It's not history. It's not Black history. Let's just put that out there.
Just watch those main two videos I told y'all. The one with Ron Crawford, then the one with the Real Merkaba. Watch those main ones. I Died, Battle Shadow Beings, my radio interview. Watch that.
Yeah.
That's game. The Bible and Christianity finally explained.
From the Real Merkaba.
From the Real Merkaba. Watch that. And there is no religious debate of how Africans received the Bible full. Watch that.
Okay, yeah, and you should be all caught up because we've
That'll
watched
give you the
tons
main.
of
That'll
stuff.
give you the main stuff.
Yeah. So, and we're constantly learning too as time goes on, but we're two people that we like to give real content because there's not a lot of people talking about what we talk about, and in the level that we talk about too. I mean, we talk about our real life experience, you know. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this collab with And1 Your Hero and me, Butterfly Spirit 314. See you guys later.
See you next time. Thank y'all. If y'all made it to the end of this video,
you deserve a pat on the back.
Yeah, you some troopers. Go get a kiss from your girlfriend or your man. Go make out. All right, bye.